A gigantic penis in the back of a pickup truck. No big penises in the back of trucks. Giant penis.
Okay, it's an isolated incident.
You get to determine what is our pet.
Snakes, a lizard, and a crocodile were removed from a home in Beaver County, Pennsylvania.
My Lord, a snapping turtle. Wow.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am out here in the garden right now getting some of this smoky air from Canada. Ooh, that sun looks cool. Hold on, let me show you. Check that out. All this smoke. So anyway, I'm out here in the garden because there's been a lot of drama lately, and this is one of my happy places. I was gonna go for a hike, but I got out of work too late to do that. So we're out here, and the stuff that is going on in this community. So today we're going to talk about Darien and Bob. I wasn't sure if I was going to make this video, but here's the thing. There have been so many polarizing, depressing, drama-related topics that aren't really drama. You know, the Samson stuff, the FWC stuff. I started this channel in February, and I am very much like a recluse kind of reptile keeper, and this channel has gotten me to talk to so many people that every time I get off the phone with somebody, my kids are like, oh, you made a new friend, because that's how little I really put myself out there. So this has been a good experience for me, but this is not what I thought it was going to be when I started this. At the end of February, I uploaded my first video. I thought this was just going to be, you know, run-of-the-mill, tiny little reptile channel that nobody really pays any attention to. And then Barczyk got diagnosed with cancer. I made a video about it. And then FWC and the Holy Thursday Massacre, and I was like, I got to talk about this. So I made several videos about it. And then the Samson stuff came out, and these are all things you can't not talk about. And I feel like I have a responsibility to talk about having a platform. And it's just become this snowball effect of talking about really depressing things, and it's been really taxing. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who were watching all of this stuff and keeping up with all of this stuff feel that too. But these are things we got to talk about. The Darien and Bob thing, not something we got to talk about, but we're going to, because this is special. I want to talk about this because it's so ridiculous, and it's not a polarizing topic. I can see both sides of this. I can see Bob and understand why he's mad. And let me just say, I'm not defending Bob. I have read a lot of things about Bob Clark that have not been good. But I also remember Bob from my childhood. You know, him being on TV with Jack Hanna. And Bob is an OG, you know. He has done incredible things for the hobby. Does he take good care of his animals? I don't know. There are things to suggest that he doesn't. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Not at length, anyway. So Bob recently released a phone call that he had with Darien that he secretly recorded, which in a one consent state you are allowed to do legally. You're allowed to record it anyway. I don't know about the law when it comes to sharing it publicly. So assuming Bob is in one of those states, I'm actually going to look that up. I'll leave it right here. If it is true that he is legally permitted to do this, then I'll leave it right here for you. So let's go back to the beginning.
Told me to go back to the beginning.
Darien was posting some stuff on his personal page and on the Morph Market page. Let's just say that too. Talking about reticulated pythons not being the best pet for everyone. 100% true. That is 100% true. I think we can all agree that a snake that size is not the best pet for everyone, and that there are select people that should have that animal, and the majority of the population should not. I think we can agree on that. In some of Darien's comments, though, he did say nobody should have a snake that size. I don't think he was saying that literally, but it is what he said. So this made Bob real mad because he breeds retics and felt like it was going to affect his business, that maybe Morph Market was going to stop selling retics on their page, and he was afraid he was going to get banned. Not unlike Nerd. You know, that's why they had that whole interview with Darien, because Kevin was like, well, are we next? And I think that's what a lot of the big breeders are afraid of right now. Which, if you keep your animals well and you can back that up with proof, I don't think you have anything to be afraid of. But I do understand why people are afraid, and that's, I think, why a lot of people did not speak up on the Samson thing, when I feel like they should have. I think it was MJ that said that first in his Trap Talk podcast. So if you want to see his take on this, please go watch that. I'm going to link that down below. I know some people think MJ is a little bit of a loose cannon, but I do appreciate his realness, and I really actually like his podcast quite a bit. And he's also not afraid to admit when he's wrong. He takes both sides in. He comes to opinions quick. But if you talk with him, it seems like he can come around and understand your side of the story, as I've seen in a lot of his interviews. So go check that out after you're done watching this. So anyway, Bob is afraid he's going to get banned. Darien's saying stuff on his personal account and a few things on the Morph Market page. Kevin's feeling nervous. He invites Darien to come on and do a interview. That will be linked below. You can check that out too. An interview to kind of talk about the concerns that Kevin's having over some of the things that Darien is saying. Some of his fears about being banned himself. So Darien goes on, they have a 3-hour-long conversation. It's cut into a 30-minute video on Nerd's channel. In that video, Kevin asks Darien about Bob Clark. Darien says he did suspend his account, but that he's back on Morph Market. There were some misunderstandings there, but that he did get a lot of negative feedback on Bob, and that was one of the reasons he was suspended. He also said he thought Bob had fake accounts that he was targeting Darien with. So, flash forward, a day or two, Bob calls Darien and records the entire phone conversation. And in this phone conversation, Bob is basically looking for a public apology, he says, but it sounds more like he's venting. And I don't know what he actually was looking to get out of that conversation. He says a lot of times that he just was trying to get answers and Darien wasn't giving him answers. I personally think Darien gave him a little too many answers. One example of that would be implicating Rodney in creating fake accounts to try to discredit Bob's page. I don't know if Rodney did that. I think he's capable of it. I don't know if he did, but that's not even the focus here. That's not even the reason I wanted to make this video. So Bob has made a few different fake accounts himself, and there's now proof of this. These are pages that are women that have one friend. That friend is Darien. And they also try to promote Bob's snakes by saying things like, look at this snake I got from Bob Clark. That part is so funny to me. In all of the drama and heaviness and crap that we've had to deal with lately, that was such a comedic relief to see Bob's fake account promoting himself, pretending to be somebody else who bought a snake from him, to only one person who he's friends with, Darien. I don't know why that's so funny. So I'm gonna show you the phone recording, and I'm gonna stop it here and there to kind of talk about some of the things I want to talk about in it. I don't know. Here it is.
So why did it happen? I've heard different things. You told me once it was a glitch. John said don't be worried about anything. It was just a glitch. Now you're saying I was suspended. I saw it on the video. Now what would be the purpose for that? What would be your reasoning behind that? Well, let's just start with one. What do you got? Oh, that is such bullshit. I don't believe that for a second.
Pause. Oh, this is kind of weird talking to you in this format. Look, it's like I got long blue arms. Now you won't be able to see anything else. This is just ego on Bob's part, really. He's just kind of denying that anybody could say anything negative about him when he knows there's quite a few negative comments going around right now.
Well, we ended up finding out that about half of them were most likely other breeders or other sellers. So that was the biggest thing that we ended up finding out about a day or two later.
Okay, but you did that, and then you gave that interview, and you said you had a lot of internal complaints. What do you, I mean, just give me something. What do you got? Why would you say that in front of the whole world?
Complaints are different than like reviews. So
Okay. Well, the reviews are there for everybody to see. Anybody can.
Market or messages us or
Yeah.
send in some sort of feedback.
Yeah. Show me that.
Now here Bob's trying to get Darien to give him the names of the people who gave him bad reviews. To what end, I don't know, but I don't think Darien should say anything about that, and I think that would be very unprofessional if he did.
I mean, I can.
It's just bullshit. It is total bullshit. I say there is no such thing. You're out there saying this stuff. It's not true. It is not true. My reviews.
Feedback. Every seller, pretty much every seller on Morph Market, at least gets like,
It's all
thing every couple months.
It's all there to see. All is out in the open for everybody to see.
So at this point, Darien's trying to explain that people send in complaints, and Bob is just not having it. He doesn't believe that anyone would send in any complaint about him, and that's kind of where we're at.
Is that what you're telling me you banned me for? Because you said on your video that you banned me for an unusual number of negative.
There were about 20 plus, but about 10 of them we found were other sellers, and it had to do with, I guess, this whole, all this bullshit with Samson and Rodney and all these other guys.
I don't have anything to do with that. I've not commented on any of that stuff. I didn't have anything to do with that.
And yeah, that's true, but maybe you should have commented on it. Just a thought.
I've not commented publicly on any of that. So why are you... what is this that you're talking about, that people are coming to you complaining about me?
Again, it's a little bit silly that he's acting like it's so incredulous that there are people complaining about him when there are so many conversations being had right now about Bob and his husbandry. I'm going to let this play out for a little bit, and then I'll swing back in.
I mean, we had around, I'd say, probably close to 20 total, reviews or ratings or feedback messages.
My feedback is all out there for everyone to see. Anybody can see that.
Other breeders or sellers that were apparently upset with you about something. I don't know exactly the details. I mean, I got dragged into the whole Retic Nation group post or whatever.
Do you understand what happened there?
Some of those guys that were coming after you for some reason.
Do you understand what happened there? I made an anonymous post. I had an option to... Do you want to make your post anonymous? I posted your own words, your words, not my words, your words. I said, I think this is something we should be concerned about. And I didn't put my name on that. I'm afraid of you. You're going to do this kind of shit. This is the exact reason that I didn't put my name on it. I'm not a pussy. I'm not trying to hide or anything. I just said this is something that concerns our Retic community. The guy that runs the biggest platform says he doesn't think anybody should have a Retic. Now, that is what it is. That is what you said. I'm just saying. That's what I said. That's all. What's the problem? They're your words, not my words. It is something that concerns our Retic community.
I mean, I have to be honest. If I was breeding Retics, I might be a little concerned too. It makes sense to me.
And I didn't want to put my name on it because I thought you'd punish me, ban me or something, and then you did it anyway. Why?
Well,
I still can't get a reason why.
I definitely wouldn't do that for that reason whatsoever. I mean, that's...
What am I supposed to think?
To this day, I've got people who, all they do is sit there and talk shit on Facebook all day about me, and, I mean, I've never banned a single one.
Well, I don't know. You probably deserve what you get.
I just want to point out here that what Darien was saying is that he wouldn't ban somebody for personal reasons. That's all he was trying to say to Bob there, but Bob decided to say that, Darien deserves what he gets, and Bob does not deserve what he gets. That's all. Carry on.
I'm just thinking, what in the world did I do to you? I didn't do anything to you. I'm just trying to sell snakes. You know what? All I want to do is sell snakes. I don't need the drama. I don't need your memes. I don't need, what do my customers think when they see you post a gigantic penis in the back of a pickup truck with some comment about ball python breeders? I'm embarrassed for my customers to have to interact with that. A giant penis.
While I personally enjoy the memes, I do understand what Bob is saying. Is this a good business practice? Probably not. But I would be a lot more concerned what my customers thought about receiving sick animals or animals covered in mites than I would a peen on the screen. And that's the word on the street right now.
Friends only thing. So,
yeah.
Only a couple thousand people saw that. But
yeah. You see what I'm saying, though?
it's not like I'm posting that on the Morph Market page.
Does that make any sense to you at all? If a couple thousand people see it, what are they going to think about the platform that I use to sell my animals? Anyway, I'm getting off track. You can run your business any way you want. I'm just saying, you're just making an effort to antagonize me, and all I do is want to sell snakes and pay you for it.
I will say I've definitely not made any sort of effort to antagonize you in any way.
What do you think? What do you think?
Obviously, Kevin asked me a question about you on the thing.
Okay,
and
let's talk about your
answer.
Yeah, let's talk about your answer. Yeah, we had to ban him. I banned him. We had an unusual number of negative feedback on him, and you didn't have any negative feedback.
Bob is really holding strong to this denial that anyone could possibly ever give him negative feedback. It's kind of silly.
Well, we did.
Show me. I say there is none. It's just bullshit. I think we had a trust issue with. I had a trust issue with Weston Winter. He's the only guy that can see that I posted that. And he went to tattling to you to tell you this, and who knows what else he said. But those were your words. They're not my words. Those are things that affect our community.
And again, I can understand that. I do understand his concern with the things that Darien has said.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. I am concerned about our retic community when the owner of the largest platform for sales says nobody should keep retics. Why would I? You worry that you think I'm worried that my account's going to be suspended?
Wait, I thought that's what this whole phone call was about.
Why don't you worry that I would say, I just don't think I can give my money to somebody like that.
Oh, I see.
I just don't think that's in my best interest to pay somebody that is against what I do. Does that seem reasonable to you to think that? Why don't you worry about that? You can worry about what you want. I'm just curious.
Well, I will say that I'm not saying that nobody out there should own a retic. I'm just saying that the majority of people shouldn't.
It is what you said. You said nobody except somebody involved in education. That is exactly what you said.
Well, and it was there was some other context behind that, but yeah.
Well, what was it? I can't see any way to make that make sense. I just saw the post in its entirety. I read the whole thing. I didn't see any context that made me not worry.
Well, it was mainly talking about the city that one of the other stores was in, and they were talking about.
I read it. I read
the
it.
laws there, and
yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
You think am I totally unreasonable to think when the owner of the largest selling platform in the world, the one that I use, the the one that I pay says something like that, that is not of interest to the retic community? I mean, how did Weston present that to you? Did he say it in a way that lit your hair on fire and got you all wired up? And banned me? What was it? What did he say?
That's the thing with me. I'm literally just a pacifist. I don't, you'll never see me get upset with anything.
Darien,
so
Darien, you're talking to a guy. You're talking to a guy that's really upset with you, and I need some answers, and I'm not getting any answers.
I mean, I've posted some stuff about this. I mean, obviously,
I've confronted you online, and I've asked you some questions. What are you talking about?
My actual views.
Yeah,
it was sort of a reactive comment to something because I was like, hey, I agree with you or whatever. And
do you see me underneath your post say, hey, tell me what you're talking about? Do you see when I ask you online, hey, what are you talking about? You don't ever answer. I mean, you can say you're a pacifist, but I'm going to say, hey, what about a guy that doesn't give you a direct response when you ask him a question?
I mean, I'll give you a direct response to any question.
Well, I'm going to say, are you a pacifist or a pussy? Because I'm asking you, and I'm not getting anything from you. I want some answers on this thing.
Okay, pause. What are the questions he's asking here? Let's try to break that down real quick. He wants to know the names of the people that gave him bad reviews. He wants to know why Darien banned him. He said it was because they got bad reviews. Then he says he doesn't believe that he got bad reviews, so that's a lie. So he wants to know the names of the people that he doesn't believe exist and why he got banned, and I am so confused right now.
And you can just say, well, fuck you, Bob. I'm going to just ban you. And you might. And
I'm not going to do that.
And I'm just saying.
A quick update on that. As of this morning, July 1st, 2023, Bob Clark is not on Morph Market. I'm not sure if that's because he left on his own or he got banned again.
And I do not like the way I am being treated by somebody that I pay for their services. Does that concern you? Is that how you treat your customers? I mean, I watch how you treat the ball python breeders and the big breeders and the people the anti-LGBTQ plus people. I'm just thinking, for crying fucking out loud, sell snakes and stay out of the other stuff. I just want to sell snakes. You can get off my ass. I'd like you to be able to say to those people, hey, you know what? Yeah, I heard some rumors and some people told me some shit. Turned out not to be true. I shouldn't have banned Bob Clark. I know I said, well, we did this to teach him a lesson, to give him a nudge. I'd like you to apologize for that publicly. What kind of a nudge? What do you have in mind? How are you going to influence the way that I do run my business? What are you talking about? What is that? You're not telling me anything.
I find it very interesting that this whole thing is about the treatment of the animals, and not once has Bob mentioned the treatment of his animals. It's all been about his business, and he's going to do things the way he wants to do things.
A smear campaign. You think I'm running a smear campaign? Well, show me some evidence for that. Where is the evidence for that? A smear campaign. I made 2 anonymous posts.
Yeah, well, there was another. I ended up finding out that there was another seller that was actually doing a lot of it. And
okay, was it me?
Same day that a couple other things, with you happened, so I kind of assumed that,
So you assumed, but you were not correct.
In that case.
But you did that. You banned me. You made assumptions. Yep. You were wrong. It was not me. I didn't do those things. It was someone else.
Yeah, well, I mean, that wasn't actually the reason, because I wasn't the one who actually suspended you. It was one of our customer service reps. And
well, who was that?
It was after we had a significant amount of negative feedback that about half of it ended up being real, and the other half ended up being bullshit, basically. So
Well,
it wasn't as
who's
excessive as
who's
we thought it
spreading
would
the
be.
bullshit?
And every big seller, I mean, bigger sellers on North Market, every seller gets negative feedback on the site as like ratings or reviews, and then they also get internal, which is either direct messages. A lot of people, they fear retaliation, just in the same position you're in, basically. They fear retaliation from bigger breeders and sellers, so they might not go on there and actually write a 1-star review on Brian Barczyk or you or Nerd or whatever.
Well, who did that?
Instead,
Who made these?
They go and they send us a message and say, "Hey, this is what I'm saying," and that's about 80 to 90% of the negative feedback we get. 80 to 90% comes in internally via feedback requests or messages rather than an actual rating.
Well, I'd like to know who gave the stuff that you thought was not valid, and who gave the stuff that you thought was valid.
Well, there were buyers that we linked to buyers who actually purchased from you, and there was a couple that had some. There was, I think, I would say around a half a dozen in the last 6 months that have said things about like mites and things like that, which
It can happen.
whether
It can
it's all
happen.
true, I don't know. I mean, it can happen.
A lot of people seem concerned about the fact that Darien parroted Bob saying it can happen. I don't think he said that in like an agreeing way. In the context of that conversation, he was trying to explain to him that he didn't know if they were true or not, but he had to go with what he had, and Bob interjected, "It can happen," and Darien just parroted it back. I don't think he was excusing it or brushing it off.
And there's
So are you saying that
we
you...
did end up finding out that there were 4 or 5 from a single person who is now banned from the site because they were basically trying to make up fake.
Who is that? Who is that person?
But it was somebody who is in the retic community. And
Who was it?
I don't really know.
Who was it? I'd like to know who it
That's
was. Who was it?
You can tell by how Darien responds to this that he just kind of finally broke, kind of caved in to the constant, who was it, who was it? Obviously, I think this was a mistake. The rest of my feelings on that topic aside.
Well, it looks like it might have been. It could be that Rodney guy. I don't really know him. I don't know him at all, really. But
I have zero contact with him.
He's just got it out for everybody.
Yeah, he hates everybody. But
Yeah.
so you say Rodney...
But I think that it's probably him because there was a lot of connection between accounts. But then the biggest ones that I found were actually the stuff that was, against me. That was a specific other seller who just had it out for me since I took things over. Like literally within a week, he was just making up, editing, photoshopping posts and saying that I'm a PETA supporter and whatever else. I don't know.
This could have been a good time for Bob to say, "Oh, hey, you got people making fake accounts coming after you. I got people making fake accounts coming after me. Maybe we have a little empathy for each other." But of course not.
And I got blamed for that, and I got suspended. Is that correct?
I mean, at this point, Darien has already explained half a dozen times that it's because of the feedback, not because of his personal issue. I would be so frustrated with this conversation by now.
Well, that had nothing to do with the suspension. That was kind of an aside thing. That was something that, was completely separate from that. Because when that happened, that was actually a day after the suspension. And then when I started looking into things, I was like, oh, is this also what's going on here? So I started looking into that. I had some people send screenshots, and I found an account that, I guess, a fake Facebook account that you had made like last year or something, talking to somebody, I don't know, something about somebody who got a snake from you, and I don't know.
Oh,
what the name was,
that girl is highly
like a Facebook
energized,
account that was apparently operated by you.
and she is on every platform, highly energized, and just a toxic person.
So this highly energized woman, who's absolutely cray-cray, is the woman that Bob sent a snake to. That snake had mites, it had IBD, it ended up having a lot of other issues, and it died. She ended up getting a necropsy for it, and Bob took this personally. And now, of course, she's toxic because necropsies lie all the time. Right?
Okay. Are we taking her out of the mix? Is there anything else?
Yes. No, I mean, yeah, as I said, there were a handful of just negative reviews and feedback, and then
all public for everybody to see.
I mean, you can keep yelling that, but he's already explained that it's not all public. A lot of it is internal. I don't know why it's not getting through.
What'd you say?
All public, everyone can see the negative reviews. Everything's out there.
Well, no, that's all internal. That's stuff that people, they send us a message and they're like, hey, I bought from this seller, and then we add it to the account privately because they obviously don't want their name public writing a, bad review. But we keep it all because, every once in a while we do have a significant amount.
Good. So you have a record. You have a record of all these people. And all these negatives.
We have about 5, 6 years of tens of thousands of, negative,
but you've got some
basically just negative feedback and issues and things like that are all internal, where people say, hey, the seller didn't take care of this, and blah blah blah, and so we just add it in as a notes basically.
Okay, so you've got some notes attached to my account specifically. Can you send those to me?
Well, I would have to ask. I'll see what we can do on that.
Okay, now some people were getting on Darien for this because he's the owner of the company, and they're like, well, who do you have to ask? Well, first of all, possibly your legal team, at the very least HR, because there might be some confidentiality thing that you're breaking by exposing people who have left reviews in a confidential manner. At the very least, doing something like that breaks the trust of your buyers. And if Bob were to retaliate in some way, there would be a lawsuit there.
Okay, because if I don't see him, I'm not going to believe him. I don't see any reason that I should have been suspended.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was this: is the other one was there were animals that were being sold. The other thing that was just kind of a weird thing that we've got to the bottom of was people were, you and a couple other sellers, they were asking about, hey, why are these animals being sold multiple times? And we ended up finding out that it was like some normal animals from like last year, and basically in the last year that
I may be causing
like
that.
Normal reticulated python, and then somebody bought it, and then it was just relisted, and instead of putting representative photo, it was just sold. And so that was another thing that we got to the bottom of. Obviously, in the future,
that
we
I
are
can
reaching out to every seller about that.
So when I upload,
if you list an animal and it's like a representative photo, and you're not necessarily going to sell that specific animal, then obviously, hopefully we catch it and we let sellers know, hey, make sure that you actually put representative.
If I don't sell an animal that's in that picture, I send a picture that says that, I send a message that said that's sold, but I've got this one. And you see those, I've got positive reviews on those things. And sometimes, and I think this may happen, I will take an ad for something that I've got a lot of, and I may just change the picture and have the same ad there and upload. It may seem to you to be the same one, but it's a different picture. Maybe the same ad with a different picture. So, let's summarize here.
People reaching out about that, dozens of people saying, hey, what's up with this? Why was my animal sold to somebody else, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just it's kind of a flaw with the way, Morph Market allows sellers to do things. What it should do is it shouldn't allow a listing to be recreated and just photo change. It should require the animal ID and all that stuff to show that it's not the same animal.
Okay.
So that's kind of a flaw that I am trying to work out, because that's something that's happened for a couple years now, and we have a number of sellers who use it that way. And so now we've been kind of slowly reaching out and saying, hey, when you list an animal, make sure you list a new animal ID, because people are starting to see that in a negative way, and they think that, Brian Barczyk or Bob Clark or Nerd or whatever, they're just taking these animals and they're, selling, to 5 different people on the same ad. And it's kind of it makes people question the legitimacy of the animal they bought. Basically.
Okay, well, so there's another thing that I didn't do. But let me tell you, if you got a problem with Bob, call Bob. Tell me you got a problem. You got something you have a question about? Tell me. I'm available all the time. John sent me that email, said all that stuff, said I'm running a smear campaign and I don't have to worry about my account. I think, I wanted to talk to John about that. There's no smear campaign. There's no fake identities. There's none of that bullshit. But I responded to the email. I tried to call him a couple of times. He is in deep hiding. I think, come on, man. You say something like that, I call you, I want you to answer the fucking phone.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about it. I don't want you to throw a bomb and then run for cover. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a totally fair request.
He's not really involved in Morph Market that much anymore, so...
Yeah, he couldn't answer the phone.
Yeah, and obviously, we've got, new employees and things like that, and so, some accounts have been suspended without even, checking with me on it, so, there's been a few issues there, and now I'm basically letting everybody know, hey, if there's some sort of issue, no matter what it is, let me know first so I can look into it, I can verify everything, and hopefully we don't have this kind of issue in the future, so...
Okay, to sum it up, mistakes, you made some mistakes. You accused me of things that didn't happen. The repeat listing thing, that was a glitch. I shouldn't have been had my account suspended because the information you got, according to you, half was bullshit from competitors or whatever. And yet there's this video out there that says, yeah, we had to ban him for basically for bad behavior, and we hope that will maybe give him a nudge. I just listened to that today. You know how infuriating that is to me? Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Can I get an apology? I want an apology for your bad behavior. A public apology. What can you do for me there?
Well, let me. I'm going to watch that video and see exactly what I said on there, because I'll be honest, I haven't really watched it yet. I don't know what they put on there, but it was like a 3-hour interview.
Yeah, I've watched it, and so have 2,000 other people. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me...
and that's just one of the reasons I'm pissed at you.
I'll call up Nerd and see, what they say too, so...
He already tried to cover his ass on that thing. He's posted on there. Now, I also see that I posted a response to you directly on there, but Kevin has hidden it.
Okay, a response on the video?
On the video, yeah. I spoke directly to you there. Kevin has hidden it.
Okay. I'll ask him about that.
Can you understand how this kind of stuff pisses me off? I'm trying to run a business here. I'm trying to sell snakes, and I got to deal with this kind of shit. Oh,
Yeah.
it is just.
There are, after removing any of the I guess false or fake negative feedback. There is. I will say that you do have more negative feedback than the majority of retic breeders. I
sell multiple exponentially more snakes than all the rest of the breeders on there combined.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I've looked at, sales versus negative feedback and all that, and I mean, it's still percentage-wise, it's still higher.
I am not
understand that,
perfect.
like,
I don't pretend to be
the bigger you
perfect.
get, the less, quality is going to be, the main priority, I guess. I mean, that's with any business, with anything. I mean, we have the same thing.
I have a good quality product that I am proud of, and I am unhappy when the guy that I pay to help me sell my animals actively works against me and my community.
I do think that, there's some issues with, things, and, I'll be the first to say that, I'm not shy about that. I've been to reptile expos for the last 20 plus years, and I mean, the amount of shit that I see every time, and people selling, retics to freaking teenagers, and
I'm not. We're talking about Bob Clark and Morph Market.
Yep.
That's my concern. That's why I'm talking to you about this problem.
Yep.
Anyway, I would like you to straighten that out online. I don't like seeing these comments. I don't like seeing these posts, and it is unprofessional. You've got a responsibility running this thing. I wish you'd take it seriously. No big penises in the back of trucks.
Obviously, I post some, more humorous things on my own Facebook page or Facebook account.
I am on Morph Market for business. I'm about business.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I have said everything I have to say. And I'm coming up for renewal next month. I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's it. I will look for an apology.
Alrighty.
Bye.
All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, you can hear in this phone call that Bob is very upset. And I don't blame him one bit for being upset. I think he has every right to be upset. I think Darien overstepped. And, I like Darien. I think he's a pretty good dude. And I think what he's doing for Morph Market, you can think what you want about it from a business standpoint, but I'm really enjoying it. Like, I got a kick out of the memes. I didn't take any of it personally. He's posted some polarizing things on there. I can't say it bothers me, personally. Like, I don't feel like I'm threatened by that in any way. So anyway, I understand Bob being upset. I understand why. And I also understand Darien just posting what's coming to his mind, And a lot of it has been on his personal page. Bob seemed to want him to not do anything on his personal page, and I also understand that. His personal page, where he's accepted every friend request, does reflect on Morph Market because he's the face of Morph Market. So I understand. I understand Darien wanting to look into Bob and his husbandry and his practices because there's a lot out there that paints Bob in a bad light. Do I think it's true? I'd just go ahead and answer that. I do think it's true. I don't have anything to support that right now other than the one necropsy. So think what you will about Bob. Think what you will about Darien. Their beef is really just between the two of them. And that Bob's making it so public and also making these fake accounts with his one friend Darien. Stuff like this, it doesn't affect us. Keep trying to find angles and all of these things that can bring us together as a community. And there's a silver lining on each one of these things. Samson Pruitt, FWC, everything that we've talked about on this channel, there's always a silver lining where we can unite and get behind a cause or something. This one, we can just kind of kick back and just watch it unfold because it's really not going to do anything for anybody if we're taking sides, and it's pointless. If Bob needs to up his game and up his husbandry and really take care of his animals, and he's not doing that, that's fine. We can talk about that. And wait, before you go, I got to give a shout out to my guy Devin over at Prophecy Exotics for giving me the scoop and the proof with some screenshots and some links to follow to show that those accounts are actually Bob's. So go check out Devin at Prophecy Exotics, and go check out MJ's podcast on it, because that was very good as well. And you can get all different kinds of perspectives in there. You know, I think this is up for discussion. I don't think there's a right or a wrong in this. I understand where both sides are coming from. Just take it at face value and understand that both of these people are human beings. Don't harass either of them. They both make mistakes. They're both emotional people. I mean, Darien doesn't seem like an emotional person, but he's got emotions. You know, everybody's got emotions. So hopefully this unfolds in a way that is amicable. I think Darien and Bob and Rodney and Garrett need to all go to couples therapy together, is what I think. So hopefully you guys can see the humor in it that I'm seeing in it, and not take it so seriously, not get angry at people online, and we can all just coexist. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.